For this session, we'd like to talk a little bit about the benefits, the hard quantifiable monetary benefits of putting in a wireless gauge reader or wireless transducer reader type of solution. Now, as we discussed earlier in our demo, it's clear that there's many factories, old sites, old buildings with a lot of legacy gauges that people spend a lot of time monitoring manually. Why don't they change them out with transducers and get the data automatically rather than spend the manpower? And the reason that we hear again from customers is really that these solutions that are available today cost way too much and cause too much disruption. Cost in terms of once you break the seal, you have to put in a new transducer, you need to check leaks, you need to run wires, you have to create the drawings to document the wiring to get the approvals. You have to buy new I/O termination, new analog input cards. You need to revalidate the system for compliance and safety. And last but not least, you often have to stop the process or the production in order to install them. And often what it means is that all this disruptive, intrusive type of activity ends up costing $4,000 to $6,000 to retrofit an old point, to add new transducers and new wiring and so on. So our solution is to avoid all of that. As a non-intrusive reader, just mounts on top of an existing gauge and then gives you pretty much all the benefits, brings you almost up to speed with a wired transducer up to modern day with a fraction of the hassle at a fraction of the overall cost. So hopefully you've already seen the demo video that shows you how this is done with the gauge reader, but you can see that with our solution there really is no breaking seals, no leak check. It's wireless, so you don't have to run the wires. There's no wiring diagrams or drawings that you need to create and approve. There's no I/O termination, no I/O cards, because this wireless goes right into a receiver and a server. And it doesn't affect existing validation because it doesn't break any seals and it doesn't introduce any foreign material or new materials into your existing system. And finally, there's no process impact because it is non-invasive. Your existing system, your existing process continues to run as is and production is uninterrupted. So the net impact of all of this is that the Cypress Systems solution ends up costing thousands of dollars less and a fraction of the cost of a traditional wired transducer. Our target is per point to be under $1,500 per point fully installed, including all software, all labor, all the hardware and servers, repeaters, and wireless system. And that compares to a traditional transducer solution where for each legacy point you'd be typically looking at $4,000 to $6,000. A lot of it taken up by things like the cost of the sensor and transducer, the cost of the installation, the running the wires, design, the wiring diagram, the approval of the drawings, the code compliance to bring it up to current safety, fire, or FDA regulations for food and drug, I/O panel termination for I/O cards, and last but not least, process downtime. So you're looking at the type of Cypress Systems solution costing about $1,500 per point compared with $4,000 to $6,000 per point for a traditional wired system. Now, once the system is installed, our customers so far has found quite a few quantifiable benefits result in hard dollar savings. The benefits are in different classes. They could range from reducing costs from excursions and unavoidable downtime for facilities. Basically, you get better handle on what your equipment, your assets are doing so you can avoid the shutdown, not get caught by surprise. Certainly reduce the labor to perform rounds, go around reading gauges or transducers. Can reduce the cost of energy audits and troubleshooting, where many factories have a target to reduce energy consumption by, say, 6% or 10%, but it costs a boatload of money just to instrument the site before you get the baseline to know where to go save money. Well, this kind of system can lower those costs dramatically and provide a modular and temporary solution where you can just clip on readers and get a good baseline. You could reduce the cost of consumables, things like processed gases, things like water. Once you know where you're spending them, once you know where you're consuming them, you could manage them better. And again, this type of system is non-invasive, so it's really great for putting into systems that you really want to avoid revalidation to get these benefits, to get the payback. And again, this system will connect to just about any existing system. That's a building management system, building automation, industrial automation. So you have minimal retraining of people, virtually no new software investment, and just really minimal cost and disruption. So let me give you some examples of how some real customers have implemented the system to save real dollars. This example is from Micro Semiconductor. They're based in San Jose, and they're a semiconductor fab. And for them, we focused on the gas management area. These looking at gas cylinders. Micro has about 280 gas cylinders on site, and for each of these, they monitor them twice per day, once per shift. So it's about 3 to 4 hours per shift, 2 times a day, about 6 to 8 hours per day, almost one full-time equivalent person. And it's definitely skilled labor that they feel they could put to better use. Also, even when they have these people monitoring the gas bottles regularly, they have downtime. There was this one day in January where it was fairly cold, and one of the gas bottles that were outside in a gas pad had condensation of the gases, lost vapor pressure, and that meant that the tool that it was feeding lost vapor pressure, and there was all kinds of yield problems and it caused process disruption. Very, very costly. And so the third area is that when they monitor these cylinders manually, the operators are so concerned about running out of gas that they frequently swap out the bottle before it's empty, even when it's a third full or more. And there's obviously gases that could be saved if they weren't switched out so soon. Micro put in the wireless gauge reader system, and they were able to save about one full-time person equivalent, avoiding the rounds, manual rounds. They were able to save on the unavoidable downtime. They caught errors and saved about $5,000 per incident, or somewhere close to around $80,000 per year. And they also were able to reduce the gas consumption as they were able to trend and run the gas bottles down lower. Annual savings was in the $215,000 range, and the payback on this investment was less than 7 months. And another example from another customer was facilities monitoring. Again, monitoring equipment health like pumps, like air handler units, coolant loops, and so on. Again, once save skilled labor for doing manual rounds. Second, save energy. They monitored their compressed air usage and made sure that the compressor was not on or overpressured more than was required. It looked at exhaust systems, venting systems, made sure that the airflow was not any more than was necessary, which consumes quite a bit of energy. Payback on this system was, again, less than 6 months. And here's another example with, again, a semiconductor fab. This is a CMP machine, a rather older one from the late 80s, early 90s. Not a lot of data coming out of this machine, but constantly the operator struggled with having yield and quality problems. Found out that this was really due to a filter getting plugged, but they had no visibility to this. So we helped this customer monitor their filter, the delta P across the filter, and then instead of plugging up in about 2 weeks as they had expected, filter actually plugged up in less than half a day. So we put in alarming, it notified their cell phones, and they went in, replaced the filters, avoided downtime, and payback here was less than 1 week. So there are many more examples of this with our customers mounting our system on numerous systems like process cooling water, DI water loops, waste treatment, circulation pumps, and also on water softeners, domestic water supply, HVAC units, boilers, chillers, air handler units, and so on. We actually have quite a library of applications, and I'd invite you to visit our website at www.cypress.com/systems and take a look at more applications that we have in our library. And two of our customers, Novellus and Stanford, have actually offered to give tours to prospective customers if you'd like to see how our systems are used in a real facility.